Hello, everybody. It is Halloween, and I need to do some seed cleaning. So I figured I would go ahead and go live, and y'all can ask me any gardening or seed questions you have while we're doing this. Trying to be aware of where the camera is here. Will that even turn? Yep. It's probably too much. Wow. Tried to see where it was before I started. Okay. Hello, everybody. I need to do some seed cleaning, and it is Halloween, so I figured I would just take y'all with me. I have candy corn nails right now until later tonight. So, but yeah, I figured I would get on and just do some seed cleaning and answer any seed saving questions y'all have, or gardening, or just plants in general. Not going to go through my whole seed stash, but I'm hoping to make a dent here for about an hour. These first seeds that I have in my lovely cheese container, these are some pea seeds. They are, gosh, these are not sweet peas. These are, I need another cup to put them in. These are seeds from like the edible pea pod seeds. Ones you put in like stir fry. So there's several different types of peas. There's some that you grow just for like the peas. And there's some that have an edible pod. And this one in there. And I think there's a third type. I keep thinking that I'm a fan of regular peas, and I am not. I am a fan of peas when they are in something else, like a casserole or soup. I keep serving myself peas when we go places. But then I take a bite and I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. Yeah, with pea seeds, you want to wait until the pea pods have become all dry, brown, and crunchy before you collect them. They'll look, like this. These ones are a little black. I don't know. I think she got kind of wet and then dried out. So they're not quite moldy, but they may have also dropped to the ground before I got them. Ta-da. We also have a lovely crunchy noise. Dropping stuff in the other cup. I love to save all these little cups to save seeds in, at least temporarily while I'm like collecting them. Save these little thingies. They're a good size when you don't have, bushels of seeds to go through. Put that down. I'll save seeds in a variety of containers, and you'll see a few of them here. And usually when I'm like seed cleaning, I'll do a bunch while we are watching TV at night, or if we play a lot of board games. So it's something to do with my hands while we're sitting there playing board games, waiting for people to take their turn. I also feel like I'm getting something productive done. Yeah. Trying to make sure there's no like spiders in here either. 'Cause who knows if there's any critters hiding in here. Tried to see if the I don't think that was a full seed wherever it went. I was trying to see if the YouTube free library had spooky music, but I didn't see any that wasn't like 3 minutes long. But yeah, while I'm doing any of the seed cleaning, let me know if you have any questions about saving any seeds, any gardening questions. You can put them in the chat and I will try my best to answer them. I'm not sure there's any. Oh, there's one in here. These are Sugar Snap pea seeds. And there'll be a few per pea pod here. Gonna have to go through after I get them out of the pods. Check to make sure that none have actually like sprouted in there. They'll have a little thingy poking out because those ones won't be any good anymore. Or if there are any little shriveled up ones that are way too small. Yeah, I like to save these little plastic containers for seed saving, and then I will also use a lot of these aluminum foil pans for stuff that's kind of bigger seed processing stuff. And then I also like to put it's called chaff, all the extra stuff that's not seeds in there, and then I'll run that out to the compost when it gets full. I don't need to do the whole cup here. Let's see if there's any deads in here. Like this guy, he's a little wimpy guy, so he doesn't need to go in there. Let's see if there's any sprouted ones in here. There were last time. There were quite a few. This one, I don't know. This one's at least like split. It doesn't have the little thing coming out of it yet. This one does, I think. Maybe. I don't know. This one's pretty good. But that's how you process pea seeds. It doesn't matter what type of peas you have. They're all the same kind of process. And these are good to, well, I don't know if these specific ones they're not inedible, but it's not the variety that you grow for this, so they may not taste great. But if you're doing the peas where you're gathering for the peas, or for pea pods, that's how you process the seed saving. And if you're growing the like dried peas, it'd be the same. So that's some peas. What else do I got around here? These guys are some alliums. I'm not actually sure what type they are. They are some cute little, they're almost like those big Dr. Seuss alliums, but they're tiny ones. So these, when they're blooming, will be little purple poof ball flowers. And each little flower will make a little seed. Those little black dots are the seeds in there. So these guys, I'm sure there's a faster way to do all these things. But I just kind of, oh, that's two thingies apparently. Yeah, I just figured I would take y'all along with me while I knock. I'm not sure if there's any seeds in this one. Figured I'd make a dent in some of my seed stuff today because I need to start doing some of my germination testing here soon. And I need to do better about that. Oop. Nothing in there. Everybody just knock some of these out here. Yeah, all this other stuff that's not the seeds is called chaff. And if it's nice enough this weekend, I can probably do some stuff that's called winnowing, where I would take this stuff down, whittle it down into this little bits so there's less stuff in there. And I'd probably give it kind of a light squish to try and make sure the seeds come out of there. And you put it in kind of a shallow bowl, and you can either have like a fan on low, or if you're not doing too much, you can just blow into the bowl. Or if it's, windy but not insanely windy out, you blow and the seeds will stay at the bottom and all the stuff that's not seeds will go to the top. And there's a whole bunch of little seeds down here. I don't know how that happened. Is this what I was doing? I don't remember what I was doing before when I was doing this. But yeah, you can see there's little black seeds at the bottom. And that's what allium seeds look like. Alliums are the seeds that are in the like onion and garlic family. There's quite a few flowers that are kind of alliums. There are these big ones. I call them Dr. Seuss flowers. And there's several varieties that have the name, but they're like 3 or 4 inch, like purple poof ball. Like if you type in Dr. Seuss flowers to Google, that is what will pop up. I'm going to put these in here. I don't know why these are in this little corner here. Yeah, the seeds are little black doodads. They're, I don't know, they're kind of flat. They're not like round balls. When they're more onion seeds, they'll be like 3 or 4 in a thing, so they'll be kind of wedgy shaped. most of these out of there. But yeah, these ones are from some flowers that are out front. They're not edible as far as I know. I have a picture of them somewhere. I looked them up once to see what they were, but it's been a while. I used to use this one app called Picture This to ID flowers and stuff, and there's some kind of weird back way that you can do to just never actually pay for it. But lately I've been using Google Lens, which I think has been working better and is absolutely free always. So I've been using that lately. Yeah, 1 year I was behind on planting stuff out in the garden, and I just took all my little seed packets for stuff I was going to direct sow along the cattle panel arches we have, things that are like melons and beans and stuff. And I just took all the packets out there. I kind of laid the packets out kind of roughly where I wanted them to be. I just kind of spaced them out evenly and planted them. And then later I was like, well, I didn't really write down which order they were in. So I wasn't really sure what was what when it was growing. There's some that I could tell. Like I could tell which one the watermelon was because the leaves were a bit different. But there are some that I had not planted before. Like there was a Kakuzi squash and loofah I was growing for the first time. So I wasn't really sure how those looked differently than other viney, squashy, melony things look. And this one did really well. And it ended up being a Kakuzi squash, and it grew to be really big. I don't think it got done because it didn't get, it was still pretty fuzzy by the end of our growing season here. So I may try to start those indoors just to give them a couple extra weeks. But it said it would have enough, but they took a while to get going. Wow. These ones don't make as much of a satisfying noise as the peas did. But yeah, so hopefully this weekend it'll be nice enough that I can do some winnowing and deal with some of the chaff here. Yeah, so those are allium seeds. Let's see what else we got here. These guys. Stirred on before. Put little labels in there so I know what they are, especially if I have like different varieties of things. So also, I love these little containers because I can put a little lid on them, and I can also like stack them up. These are columbine seeds, and these little, when the flowers dry up, they make these little dried doodads, and in each one of these things is like a column of seeds. You want to be careful where you plant columbine because they can be toxic for cats and dogs. These we grew in our last house. The former owner there had put them in the backyard, and the dogs didn't really mess with them. But when we grow them here, I'll put them in the front yard, so then we don't even have to worry about that. And I always make sure whenever I'm processing the seeds too, I make sure to give my hands a really good wash. just in case, because I don't want to be touching these and then go pet the dog. Yeah, let's see if you'll be able to see that in there. There are little, will it refocus? Yeah. In this little slit here. Whoop. Trying to open this without it just like exploding. There'll be little black seeds in there. Whoop. You can kind of see that. Whoop. But these ones are lovely. They're like a burgundy purple color. And columbine is native to where we are. So that's always nice to grow native plants. You don't always have to grow like 100% all native stuff. Like that's always nice. But you want to make sure you're not growing invasive stuff. Like a lot of bamboo will just take over your yard. There's a house I used to drive by on the way to work that had bamboo in the backyard, and it was like the whole yard. And it'll grow into the neighbors' yards. It'll grow like under fences. It's really hard to get rid of because they grow like they spread through like the roots. I'm pretty sure they're rhizome plants. Oop. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. There's a little spider. Nope. No, thank you. Yeah, the columbine seeds are tiny little black ovals, and they're usually pretty like shiny. Let's grab a few here. Yeah, they're actually these are the type of seeds that I have on the thumbnail for this. They're little black, shiny ovals. And I have many of these seeds available for purchase in my Etsy shop. I don't think I had time to put that all in the description here, but it's in like all my other video descriptions, and I'll pop it in there when I go and repost this video. Whoop. But yeah, the columbine is on there. And these ones are pretty kind of maroonish purple ones, and then the middle is kind of white and yellow. But yeah, if you all have any seed saving questions, gardening questions, you can put them in the chat and I can try to answer them. Trying to keep my eye on the chat while doing this, while not spilling seeds everywhere. Yeah, these ones are a little light brown. I'm not sure that these ones are good. Okay, figure out which ones I'm going to do next here too. Probably do basil seeds next. I'm sure there's a faster way of doing this, of probably just putting all these things in like a Ziploc baggie and smashing them. But then you'll get a whole bunch of this chaff stuff in there that you gotta get out. Although these ones are pretty light, so you could probably winnow them pretty well. Okay. But yeah, I don't want a whole bunch of this stuff in there. Yep, that's what columbine seed processing looks like there. So I'll put away. This one I usually keep a lid on just because it can be toxic, and try to make sure doggies don't get into it. But most of the rest of the seeds I put in these containers, and they'll kind of stack up and nest up on each other, and it takes up less space. Speaking of doggies, she's under my foot. In my way. These ones are some basil seeds. I'm not sure exactly which type of basil they are. I need another container because that one's full. I am pretty sure they are holy basil. I have pictures of them, so I need to see if I can tell from the pictures what type they are. And I'm sure you could do these guys faster by putting them in a baggie. But I am trying to not waste baggies. But yeah, usually I'll do this while we're watching TV or playing board games or something. So, not really like wasting time. Yeah, these guys grow in little stalks, and the bees love them. So I usually let, a couple plants go to seed just for the pollinators. But the seeds themselves you grow basil for the leaves, and the leaves don't taste as good. They go kind of like bitter after the plant's gone to seed. So yeah, that's just one little stalk, and the seeds are those little black things in there. Brown stuff, some of this chaff. Yeah, the seeds grow. Gosh. This is one I was harvesting at the end of the season. But you'll have your little stick growing up, and there'll be these little things, and they're like little upside down like cups, and the seeds will be all up in there. I'm not sure. There's definitely nothing good on this one because this one's still green. But yeah, you want to wait until they're green. They'll have little flowers. I think these ones were like light purple. You want to wait until they're brown and crunchy is when the seeds will be done. And then for right now, these guys, I'm just trying to get them off the sticks and then end up with this big old thing. And then I'll go through and smoosh that a bit to make sure it's all loose from the brown bits. Then I'll winnow it, and then I'll just be left with the seeds. Yeah, you don't need a whole lot. You would just need a couple plants to go to seed to get you plenty of seed for yourself for quite a while. Wonder if anyone's ever tried putting in basil seeds, kind of like poppy seeds, onto like baking goods. I don't know if they taste. I don't really remember poppy seeds really tasting like anything. But that I'm sure that can maybe be a thing. Whoop. But yeah, these plants volunteered in my bed, and it was when we were moving. So we moved the garden beds and moved all the dirt that was in the garden beds. And then this spring, these volunteered. I think all of my other basil were in my green stalks. So the only one that I had in the bed was this holy basil. So that is most likely what these are. They could be from any of the other basils going to seeds, going to seed, and actually, making it. So I gotta double check. And I am not the best at trying to. I need to do better at growing my herbs. I can't seem to find the right time of trying to trim the leaves in enough time so I'm getting like nice big leaves, but that they're not going to seed yet. And I gotta find the right rhythm for that little window there. So there'll be a few weeks where I'll see they'll start going to seed, and then I'm just like pinching off those branches and hoping that they'll still be good. And basil's real cool because you clip it, and then that splits, and then you get more and more. It just like branches off. But these guys kind of took over a whole little bed. And these are from last year. I've got a whole set from this year that I need to go outside and clip this weekend. And I've gone to seed. Our garden did not do the best this year. It got so hot so quickly that most of the plants were just like, nope. The peppers actually did okay though. And that's usually the one that I struggle with, is getting some nice peppers. Whoop. The tomatoes did horribly. Well, ones we did get were teeny tiny. Most of my starts didn't make it, which was weird. But yeah, as soon as I do some seed testing on these, and I do double check which basil type this is, these will be in the Etsy shop with all the other seeds. Let's see. I was just going to do this for about an hour or so. We have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 more other types of seeds, so I was hoping to finish off this little pan because there's only a couple left. And then I have a whole other pan that's towering of the size. really wanted to be quick about this. I could put on like some gloves and just go in a big old pan. I've looked into either purchasing or building like a seed cleaning machine. They have these machines that are, it sounds like pretty much like a winnowing box. It's got like a fan, and it will pour your seeds with the chaff in there, and I'll separate it out based on like weight of where it lands. And it's pretty cool. One of the company that I found that makes them, they do make them here in Indiana. So that's pretty cool that I could just probably drive up and go get one instead of shipping it. But I don't remember if I saw prices and they were like in the thousands of dollars, or that they were like call for a quote, which means they're probably in the thousands of dollars, because I don't need a huge one. But I did see some people making them out of just like wooden box with maybe some screens or something. They pretty much make like a dice tower with a fan is pretty much what it is. And I think for fans, they were using, I think the ones you put in like computers. So that might also be a good use if you have an old computer that the fan still works and you want to use it. Bloop. But yeah, this basil, when it was popping up this year, I was like, I'm not sure what all these weeds are, but when I plucked a couple of them, I could smell the basil. And I was like, oh, those are definitely basil. So I just let them hang out there for a while. And then they were hanging out in the bed where I've got my onions. And then after I pulled my onions, they spread out a whole bunch there. So there's a whole bunch in there. And these ones, the ones this year are definitely the same as these. So I'll have pretty much twice the amount that I have here. And I've got another whole pan that is like mounded up with these sticks. So the other one had filled up this thing. And it's a whole container. And a lot of that's chaff. So I will have to probably winnow that down. That's not all seeds. But this is the result of me doing this. And this is a lot of what my winter looks like, is doing this stuff while we're watching TV or playing board games. What I need to do is set up my Kindle up on a thing so I could just kind of swipe and read it while I'm doing this. Because I want to read more, and I'll do audiobooks, but I'm like, I need to be doing stuff with my hands, so I can't like hold a book while doing stuff. Just put the rest of that in there, and now I have an extra pan. Stuff out of the way. So that's some basil. That out of the way. This, I'm not confident. I stuck it in just take out salad container. And I'm not sure there's anything in here. I'm not sure how pokey. That might be kind of pokey. But I'm pretty sure, since I stuck this tag in here, that is some celosia seeds. Just trying to get some of this stuff off the branchy bits. And I'm not sure that there's even any seeds in here. But I think the plant was dried and brown, so it's like, I'm going to pluck that just in case. I'm not feeling any seeds with my fingers. So we'll see. Blech. Just kind of rubbing this stuff between my fingers, hoping some seeds pop out. I'm not sure that there's any seeds in here. Oh, that might be one. Let's see, lots of winnowing in my future this weekend. If it's warm enough and not raining. Okay. Just pour the goober in there. Get as much of that in there. Leave that in there to mark what it is. Oh. Yeah. Not sure if there's seeds in there or not. That was like a just in case thingy anyway. Okay. This thing was that like a week or two ago. I went out and collected some chicory seeds. And I just went out real quick and like clipped all the little branches. There's definitely some little spurters in there somewhere because there's stuff with spider webs. Get over there. So I just went and, yep, there he is, motherfucker. Get out of here. Just clicked all the branches. So I have one of those giant pans filled with these guys. Chicory is a plant that's in the dandelion family. Oh yeah, he put little spider webs everywhere in here. That's gross. Okay. And they make little purple flowers. They're kind of like a periwinkly, bluey purple. And they are very cute. And they are native flowers. And they'll grow kind of along the road everywhere. But a lot of people will also grow them for the root. They'll make little like tuber guys. And those tubers can be ground up and it's a coffee substitute. And I have not tried this because I'm not big on the coffee. But I always thought that was really cool. I got these seeds from near our old house. there were chicory plants everywhere all year, and it took me a while to figure out what the heck the plant was and when seeds would be like ready to be collected, because the flowers only bloom for a day. So it was taking me a while to figure out what all was going on with this. So I finally one day went and parked at a park near our house. It's near railroad tracks. So I'm trying to grab like a stick without the whole thing falling down. So I knew some of these plants were growing near the railroad tracks. So we parked our car at the park nearby and walked a little bit and went down to near the railroad tracks, not when a train's coming. We were making sure to be very safe. And I had someone with me too. Like, we weren't on the railroad tracks. They were just kind of in that space where they don't really mow real well. And it'll get kind of weedy, is where these guys were growing. And I grabbed a couple little sticks that looked all brown and crunchy like this and took it home. And there were some seeds in there. And I grew them out. And then when we moved here, I had some in little pots, and they were starting to get overgrown, and I needed to plant them somewhere. So I just stuck them next to the house where I knew I wanted some kind of plant there eventually. But they did really well there. They've grown, and they're like 4 feet tall. They're hanging out next to our air conditioner unit. And they're like, they get in the way of mowing. They're so large. And I planted like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. And it takes up a whole huge thing. They're doing really well there. I'm probably going to break them up and move them in the spring. Put them somewhere else where it's not going to matter if they're, growing 4 feet tall and then falling over to get in the way of the mower. Because my husband will just run them over. He'll run over my plants if they're sticking over the garden beds. And then I get upset. There's so many little spider webs in here. Wow. But yeah, each little flower makes a little cluster thingy. I'm not sure there'll be any in here. Whoop. Oh. Yep. So each one makes a little cluster. It's going to be out of focus, isn't it? Whoop. It. Each flower's whoop. Whoop. See if it'll focus or not. The lighter colored specks are their seeds. They're kind of flat little curvy guys. They're teeny tiny, and they're kind of a little curved because they're just kind of all clustered in there. Yeah, I have one of the big metal pans, not these like 9x12 ones, the one that's like 2 of these. I have one of those filled, and there are more out there to get. I'm hoping to maybe do that today, if not this weekend. Whoop. But yeah, if you guys have any seed saving questions or gardening questions, just let me know, and I will try to answer those for you. My hands are getting so dirty. Yeah, there's all kinds of little spider webs in here. Not happy about it. I'm trying to not let all the spiders into the house. There's one over here. I see him running around. Come here, you. Come here. Can go in the little compost bucket, where hopefully you'll stay, and then you can go outside where you were originally. Gross. At least they're itty bitty spiders. I have become the spider person in my house. I don't really want to be the spider person. Really try not to smush them. I try to just scoop them up and put them outside. Even though I know a lot of the house spiders don't survive outside anyway, apparently. But, like, I'm not going to intentionally squish them. That just seems mean. I wouldn't want someone intentionally squishing me. But they don't need to be in my house. Oh god, there's one right there. There's little black ones. Could be taking this thing straight out to the compost after this, because they do not need to be walking around in here. But yeah, I did a video a couple weeks ago of me collecting these seeds, and they're like chicory bushes. There's just so much of it. I'll have to see what it looks like when I dig them up in the spring, if you can actually see the, like, tubers in there real well. I mean, when I go to transplant them, I'm probably just going to dig a big old chunk around them. I'm not just going to dig right up to the roots. I'll leave some space. And I'm not sure how well they'll do transporting. But if they don't, then I've got plenty of seeds here. Yeah, right when these were starting to bloom, we had, like, house guests. And they're, like, right under the guest room window. And I would go and let the dog out in the morning and take some pictures of the flowers. It was a little weird. Like, the window's closed, but I was like, I want to be quick and make sure our house guests don't think I'm being a creeper and trying to take pictures of them. But that's where these flowers are. Wow. Okay, what else we got here? Got some yucca seeds and some spiderwort. That's, I think, the only two left that I brought up here. But yeah, so trying to get the big pile. Gosh, this thing's just huge. It's a giant stack of, look at this. It's like Star Wars up here. It's like the giant mothership of seeds. Trying to get it down to basically get the sticks out to then get them down into these guys. And then I'll break these apart to get the seeds out. So that'll be a whole thing. Label that before I forget what seeds they are. Always label your seeds with the type and the year, because you will not remember. So I got my little label in there. Orange for Halloween. Okay. These guys are some yucca seeds. We have some in our front yard. And it's like a big green grassy leafy thing that will send up these little flower shoots. Oh god. And then they'll make these pods that have seeds in them. I need to figure out if you need to overwinter these guys. I need to look that up. I am not a big fan of yucca. I'm saving these to maybe sell the seeds or give them away. The plants are like really hard to get rid of once you have them. Yeah, it makes black seeds will be kind of all lined up in there. We had at my mom's house growing up a yucca plant that grew right at the end of the driveway, and it was right next to the fire hydrant and a lamppost. So we were constantly trying to trim that back. One year we tried to just get rid of it. I was hacking at the roots with an axe, trying to get as much of that plant out of there because it'll kind of overgrow the fire hydrant there. We didn't want that. And after the year of me hacking at it, it still came back. They are really hard to get rid of. And they're fine if you just want some big old, it's kind of like a thick grassy thing. I don't know if they're in almost they feel almost like they're in the cactus family. I'm sure they're not, but they have a kind of cactus vibe where they've got the green leaves at the bottom and then they'll shoot up a big old thing with a flower. Kind of reminds me of that. I think it is a cactus. It's like a century plant or something, and it'll send up a flower. I think it's called that because it's only once every 100 years. I'm not really sure if it's literally every 100 years, but it will take many, many years before it to flower. And when it does, it sends up this huge shoot that's like 30 feet tall or something. And it's real exciting when it happens. But it's also sad because right after it does that, then the plant dies. But hopefully, when it does that, it gets pollinated. So hopefully they're able to save the seeds when that does that. Woo. I make sure to do this stuff not immediately after painting my nails, because my nails will get all chewed up after doing this. I've not tried the gel polish, so it might be fine if you do the gel polish. But I need to redo my nails anyway. They are candy corn right now, and it is Halloween, so it is time for something else. I got this dark, rich, purpley colored one in the mail, so it'll probably be that one next. It's a real nice purple. It's like a plummy, eggplanty, rich purple. So we'll try that one next. And then it'll probably be, I've got a couple holographic ones that I like to use in like the spring and the fall. They're kind of a pastel-y, peachy stuff. Ta-da. Yeah, I could not really do nail polish in school back in the day because I would pick at it at school. So, like, I could do my nails, but it only lasts for like a day or two. So I didn't wear nail polish for a long time. And then I got hooked on a lady up in Canada. She did. I saw the first video I saw of her was she went to Polish Mountain, where she put on 100 coats of fingernail polish. And I was hooked. I started watching her channel. She did all kinds of little tricks for doing your nails. And she now has her own nail polish company. And she's freaking adorable. Oh. So that's where I get the majority of my nail polish. And now I do my nails every maybe week, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. Let's see, I did this set. When was the last time I did this? It wasn't last weekend. So it's been at least 10 days. I think we were home last weekend, but the weekend before that we were visiting the in-laws. I'm trying to remember if I did. I knew I did them before we visited the in-laws. A couple days before that. I'm trying to remember if I did them since we got back or not. And I'm not sure if I did. Maybe I did. Yeah, I did them once since then. So it's been at least a week. But they're getting a little chipped, but where they're getting chipped right now, it's on the end where it's white anyway, so I can't really see it all that bad. But I've just kind of learned to live with just doing my nails often. I don't pick at them that often, though. It's usually they just get chipped, because I am always using my hands to do crazy stuff like this. I'm a visual artist, so I'm all up in getting messy. So if I want my nails to be painted, I either have to live with them being all chipped and weird, or I have to just be okay with doing them all the time. So I've not bit the bullet on doing like gel nail polish. I don't think I want to. So I like to change them up. Get out of there. Some of these ones, they'll stick together and they almost look like little caterpillars. But yeah, that's kind of what yucca seeds look like. The stem will turn all brown, and these guys will turn brown, and they'll start to kind of crack open. I maybe grab these a little early, but yeah, it's usually a cluster, 3 or 4 of these guys. Whoop. And they'll just start to crack open, and that's when I nab them. Because I don't want them spilling everywhere. There's some more out there right now. I don't know if it might be past time to grab them. Because I was not worried about it. Because I was like, I know I have a bunch of those seeds. I had another container like this overflowing. Whoop. And I've got a bunch of those seeds done. But this is the other half. Okay, so that's some yucca seeds. And we're a little past an hour. Yeah. Last one I have here. This is a whole big. I grabbed a pot and I put a bag in it. There is a cherry thingy for some reason. Gosh, this is a whole process that I was doing while I was on the couch. Multiple layers to here. These are spiderwort seeds, and they are also a native plant. They come in a couple different colors. There's like blue, there's like a maroony purple red, white, trying to think if it's like pink. There's like 5 colors that they kind of come in. And I have a real good picture on my website and on my spiderwort seed saving video. The seeds are these little gray things. They almost look like little stone belly buttons. They're funky looking. Like they look like they would be if you made a miniature model of the Easter Island statues. These would be their belly buttons. But they come in. I nabbed these from my mom's house a while back. They grow in little clusters of flowers. And you just wait for them to be dry. And I usually just kind of crush these up. And then I grab the stuff out of them. I think I was maybe doing that in here. I don't know. I think when I was doing that on the couch, I was scooping out a big chunk because this is so much. And I think I was doing that into here. I think that's why this is like 4 buckets going on here. Should probably see if I can actually get one of these things open where you can see it. I was able to get a good one on my video. See, that one's already open. Oop. That one's already open. Yeah, I was surprised. When I collected these, I was like, ooh, I'm not sure how many seeds I'm going to get. I wasn't even sure what the seeds looked like because I could not find a picture online of what the seeds even looked like. Like if I put into Google like spiderwort seeds, it was like seeds for sale. And I'm like, but they weren't showing what the seeds look like. They were showing what the plants look like. So that's another thing. When I do my little seed videos, I like to show what the seeds actually look like. Because sometimes if you're saving some weird random plant, you don't know what the seeds look like. You don't know really what you're looking for. Is this one open? Okay, this one has a thingy, I think. So let's get rid of the dinkies. Go back in there. Okay. I don't know if it'll really focus real well, but there is one little seed hanging out in there, and this thing has like 3, I don't know, hard chunks on the outside. And ooh, that's one. So if you pull them apart, whoop, whoop, so I think you could get up to like 6 maybe. I think there's like in each one of the things there's like 2, and there's 3 of them. But yeah, that one had 2 little dudes in there. But yeah, they're kind of oblong, and they have like it goes down, and then it has like a little belly button. And that's what the seeds look like. I had some volunteer spiderwort seeds. They've just been kind of hanging out in the garden. I've been trying to just grow around them. I keep being like, oh, I'll transplant them in the spring. In the spring, I'm always busy trying to, I'm doing my plant starts for my seed saving and trying to get stuff in the ground. And it's always hectic, and I never remember. And then by the time fall rolls around, I'm pretty pooped and over it. So I never remember to do it early enough then. I'm also like, well, I don't know where I'm going to plant stuff in the spring. But now we've got our fence up. So I'm going to slowly be adding garden beds along the fence line. So I'll have room there. Yep, there's one that fell out. But yeah, these little spiderworts are really cool. They can grow in shade, which is awesome. So keep meaning to move some of them out front. We've got a tree out there that's got the smallest hostas I have ever seen. Of course, my mom has like a ginormous hosta. I'm used to them like kind of taking over. So I don't know if it's a younger hosta or if it's some weird variety that doesn't get as big, but they're tiny little baby hostas. So I'll probably move some of these spiderworts to hang out with them because they can also go in shady areas, which is nice. But yeah, the base of them they're kind of like, grassy little plants, and then they have all these little flowers. And they don't last a real long time. The flowery part, anyway. The grass is still there. Okie dokie. Well, we're at a little over an hour now. So that will probably be it. Put my lid back right here. So I don't want to lose my seeds. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, while I make a dent in my seed processing here. If you guys have any questions on saving seeds or would like to request a particular seed saving video, let me know. And I can work on that. Ooh, that's a yucca seed. That went AWOL. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. And I will see you next time.